Too bad, Clary, Lady Harecross said. Never mind, I knew it was coming, Mrs. Basingstoke said, and the pair went back to low-toned gossip. Thank you, milady, for saying naught about the pinprick, the seamstress murmured, after using the last of her mouthful of pins. She cast a fleeting glance toward the tea-table. I shouldn't like her ladyship to think me careless. You have worked for my mother before, and no doubt have found her a difficult and tedious client, Anne said sympathetically. Oh, no, not at all, milady. Lady Barbara is kind. She always makes sure I have tea before I go. Anne watched the seamstress frown and squint as she worked. Truffle, may we have the draperies open? She said to the butler, who had entered to make sure that the gossiping lady's teapot was replenished. Mrs. McKellar is having a difficult time with the lighting in this room. Mamma keeps it so gloomy always. They were doing the fitting in the first-floor sitting-room at Lady Harecross's insistence. She wanted to approve all of Anne's fabric and colour choices, though at 25 Anne knew what she liked and would do what she wanted. Her allowance money was her own, and she needed no maternal approval. The butler summoned a maid to open the drapes, letting in a stream of misty Bath autumnal sunshine from the large windows overlooking the Paragon. The new gown was exquisite, and Darkefell would approve of the way the neckline flattered her figure. Darkefell. Anthony. What in heaven's name should she call her husband to be when speaking to others? In their private moments she called him Tony, but she could not speak so of him to others. She fidgeted. Just thinking of him made her feverish. Mrs. McKellar smiled at her image in the cheval mirror. You're getting rosy, milady, with thinking. Perhaps of your gentleman, she whispered. Some, like your mother or grandmother, will no doubt frighten you with fears of the wedding night, but don't let it worry you. A woman's duty can be pleasant, if the gentleman is gallant enough. Anne hid a smile as she said, I'm quite comfortable on that topic, Mrs. McKellar. She would not say it to anyone, but in a deeply unorthodox wooing, she and Tony had anticipated the wedding vows while she stayed at Darkefell's estate over the summer. It was one of the few enticements to marriage for a woman, in her mind. Other than that, the delight she took in her and Darkefell's indubitable physical compatibility, it had been a struggle to reconcile her sense of independence with the expected role of a woman as a wife and mother. She would be reduced, after marriage, she sometimes felt, to fulfilling her biological destiny as dam to the next Marquis. It was a conflict in her soul that she wished she could reconcile. It wasn't Tony who made her feel uncertain. He was the one thing about their marriage she was sure of. After a few initial incidents when he was more masterful than she was comfortable with, he had never made her feel that she would be anything but his equal in a loving partnership. It was everything else around her. Her upbringing, her church, her friends, her mother. Especially her mother, who badgered her constantly to set a date, to confirm to the world her engagement to the eligible, eminent, and elusive Marquis of Darkefell. Make the announcement before he has second thoughts, her mother had warned her, even after Anne said that Tony was a man of his word, whether that word was given in a public forum or had been just between the two of them. From the time she was a child, her mother had been planning for her marriage, and she did not understand Anne's qualms. For Lady Harecross it was natural. When a woman wed, she ceased to be. She became, legally, a part of her husband. He was responsible for her, and if she strayed, he would have the right to bring her to heel. They would never see eye to eye on this subject. We can fit the next garment, milady, Mrs. McKellar said. The two moved behind a screen, and the seamstress helped her remove the elaborate robe. What is he like, this man of yours? Is he handsome? Anne smiled and put up her arms as the